Just want to briefly start with what is BTF, because we have lots of new faces, and we have a good number of people here today. I think many of us know what is BTF, and what we have been doing for the past 5 years since 2006. We have done a lot of protests in 2009. We're currently working with youth and bringing in youth from the UK and empowerment and for them to learn history like we did today throughout the beginning. Also we do political advocacy in the Parliament, working with the MPs, all party parliament group. UN Human Rights Club, we've been doing that for 3 years, and we have lots of young people working in that team. And we have other teams, media, humanitarian work, and so on. So what we want to do is we want to more young people come forward and join our team, join BTF, and be part of it. Now we move on to the campaign, the boycott Sri Lanka. As you can see from the slides, I put save a nation from genocide. I know we talked about our history, some of you already mentioned, Tamils lost our sovereignty, and the Sinhalese, the Sri Lankan government, the Sri Lankan state, is destroying the Tamil nation. And we believe that, rightly, Graham pointed out, it is genocide. What we have today in Sri Lanka is end of war in 2009, over 40,000 people killed by Sri Lankan Bishop of Manna, it's a civil society organisation. He was saying that it's like over 146,000 people are still unaccounted for. And since the war ended in 2009, the Sri Lankan government militarily occupied Northern East, and they brought in 18 amendments to the constitution to keep right back to family in power, transferring state of emergency into Prevention of Terrorism Act, no accountability, no appetite to address the root cause of the conflict. The continued construction genocide against Tamil, land grab, no traffic change, no freedom of speech, respect to human rights, indefinite detention to political prisoners, and recently, as you can see on the slide, impeachment of Chief Justice, which a lot of international NGOs says there is no separation between the justice system and the government and the state. So for that reason, the Tamils cannot have fair justice for all the crimes, all the human rights violations they've had for the past 65 years since Ceylon became independent. So, that's the reason we're calling for the international independent investigation for the even war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the ongoing genocide. We need to have international involvement to address the issue. Going into Commonwealth, because this campaign, we want to start with the Commonwealth because that's an attention at the moment in the international arena. Everyone talking about boycott Sri Lanka 2013, October 2013. We want to do it 2 different ways. We want to start with boycotting October 2013, but involve the campaign, the boycott campaign will continue after October. So as you can see that the Sri Lankan government violates all the Commonwealth values, democracy, human rights, and rule of law. Commonwealth in the past, they acted against apartheid in South Africa, which worked really well. In Zimbabwe, against Robert Mugabe, they brought in sanctions, which Mugabe government formed a coalition with the opposition. So it worked. Economic sanctions, boycott campaigns throughout the world. did work in those countries. We do not understand why the Commonwealth being selective in the case of Sri Lanka. You know, rather than punishing Sri Lanka for what they have done, they're rewarding Sri Lanka by giving an opportunity for Sri Lanka post children 2013. The main aim for the Sri Lankan government is not just posting the children 2013, is that, as you can see in that Commonwealth Business Forum meeting, they're looking to bring in over 1,000 multinational companies to Sri Lanka and make them invest. And they want to have a development which benefits in the capitalist ideology and, you know, for the similar community to benefit from it. These developments are not empowering the Tamils in the North and East. So it is important the international community and the Commonwealth, the 54 nations, see that and have a venue change. Before Children 2013, we should focus on you know, boycotting, asking the Commonwealth leaders to boycott, and also targeting multinational companies for them to see what's really happening and what's the real agenda behind having Children 2013 in Sri Lanka. We need to persuade them. That's saying that, you know, Sri Lanka are behaving against the international norm, democracy, human rights, and rule of law. So we should identify these multinational companies and approach them and explain to them the situation what we have in Sri Lanka. Probably they don't see that. I mean, government doing a very good campaign. You know, we're talking about what Tamils and they will say that in 2009, the war ended, but the conflict is still on. The conflict's not finished. The Sri Lankan government have a different view, and they're saying that the conflict is finished. The people in Sri Lanka are moving on with their life. So boycott alone, having you know, persuaded the Commonwealth leaders not to go to Sri Lanka would not have the real results what we need. We need to have both the boycott by the business leaders, and we've got to ask the CMAC, the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, to change the venue. You know, they can do that. It's still not too late to change the venue. Unless they have a change of venue, if the Children 2013 go ahead, even if Prime Minister Stephen Harper do not attend, or the Prime Minister David Cameron don't go there, the Commonwealth will happen, the ministers, the business will invest, and the Sri Lanka will benefit from it. So what we want to target is campaign to boycott Children 2013 in Sri Lanka is that you need to target high street multinational companies. I know Aknal did several campaigns. You can share that with us. I think we need to continue to do that, and with the support of other organisations and trade union. We also need to campaign the Business Council to cancel the Commonwealth Business Forum 2013. We need to do protests, we need to do letter campaign, and we need to meet them, you know, face-to-face meeting campaigns to persuade them to change. There are 105 companies, multinational companies, are member with the Commonwealth Business Council. First, we need to target them. We need to book an appointment. We need to write to them, and we need to persuade them not to invest in Sri Lanka, not to go to Children 2013. And also the campaign, the CMAC countries, for example, Canada, South Africa, Australia, 9 countries there. We need to persuade them to put Sri Lanka venue changes and agenda for the next meeting, and strengthen political support. We have, we're doing debates, parliamentary debates, and Canadians doing a lot of work, and other country, Tamils as well as other NGOs doing a lot of work. We need to strengthen that. We need to do more on that to get the political support. So people can write to MPs, MEPs, and letter campaigns and e-campaigns. So even after the Chogam 2013 is finished, the boycott campaign should continue, targeting tourism, Sri Lankan airlines, unethical investments, and Sri Lankan cricket. What we want to do, what's the end target is that we need to bring economic sanctions against Sri Lanka, travel ban for the Rajapaksa regime. So more and more Rajapaksa families are in the government. We need to get the support of international community to ban them from travelling and doing business, and suspend Sri Lanka from Commonwealth. See, Maldives, they have a military coup recently, and they suspended Maldives from Commonwealth. Why Sri Lanka is different? I mean, they kill more people than Maldives. And take Pakistan, they've been suspended several times. The same with Zimbabwe. But Sri Lanka being exception to those Commonwealth actions. So more actions against Sri Lanka due under General Assembly and the Human Rights Council. I know that GSP Plus is under review, I think, in 2015 or 2014. So we need to work on that to extend, and a similar GSP, kind of similar tax support to Sri Lanka should be withdrawn from American kind of a GSP as well. So we need to work on these things. And I know GSP PAC in America doing a great job. I think we need to support, we need to strengthen, we need to write to whoever in charge of that. Finally, what we want to do today is that we need to bring in student unions and student support. I know there are several Tamil organizations are here today. They should come forward and take responsibility for individual campaigns. Trade unions, we want to listen to you, how we can improve our boycott campaign and your experience and your support to mobilize people. Individual activists, there's people that are not part of any organizations, but you can join BTF or Tamil Solidarity, work with us to campaign, either boycott campaign against Marks and Spencer or Tesco's, or e-campaigns, or other form of campaigns we will be doing. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a campaign every week. Individual organisations taking responsibility to mobilise people for those venues. If you can't even come to the protest, you can work from home. You can do Twitter campaigns or writing letters to these organisations, Commonwealth, and the Secretariat. Those kind of activities we need. Today, when we leave this building, what we want to have is that people walking with a plan. They know what they're going to do till November.